Tea time with Tim. I'm cooking on the cob. Even though I'm by the lake, I'm putting good food in my gob. Right, so the first thing I do is I put some water in the moat round the outside, and then what I do is put fire lighters in. The amount is up to you. It was windy this day, so I put a few extra in. Light them, let them take hold fairly well before you put the coals on. Now you can see here's a basket with the coals on. I usually around about 8 to 9, but again you can use as many or as little as you want depending on how much you want to cook. These are just some cheap ones from zip ones from Tesco's and B&Q and places like that. You let them take hold, as you can see in the top sort of, or to the sides, right, and just leave them to sort of take. You can put the lid on, but if you put the lid on, what you need to do is wait for them to start. I'm now doing the chicken, cutting the chicken up, dicing it down, smallish so it doesn't take too long to cook. And this is just a Chinese flavouring I'll put on it. Usually I do this a bit sooner than this and let it settle for a sort of an hour or two to get it let soak in. But for the video, I put it on, and then what I do is you just mix it in, and then you just put a bit more on and just keep mixing it in. Again, as much or as little as you want. Here's a Timmy tip. If you ever have problems cutting onions, cut one end off, cut the other end off, and then just little score it around the centre, just very lightly, and then just peel the top layer off, and you'll never have your eyes water again. Nice little Timmy tip for you. When it comes to cutting the onion up, it's down to personal choice. You can cut it finely, you can chop it, chunk it, dice it, do whatever you want. I vary depending on what sort of food I'm having, but I use onions a lot. But yeah, try this little tip. A couple of mushrooms in there. Again, you can slice and dice these to whatever size you want. Again, I change it depending on what I'm having. Bit of olive oil here with extra garlic in. You'll see in a minute with the garlic. Put a splashing of that in. And then what you do is you warm that up on the cob before putting the chicken in. Could have done with it being a little bit more warmer. Get the oil nice and warm. I'll rinse it around the outside as well so it doesn't stick too much. As you can see, I call this the wok dish. And I put that on and I let the chicken sort of start to take hold and cook. There's a fresh garlic. Little Timmy tip again. If you're a carp angler, then you want to get as much fresh garlic into as possible. Don't worry about these tablets, get the fresh garlic. It helps keep the midges away, they don't like it. Again, with the garlic, chop, dice, do whatever you want, as much big or small, squash it, whatever. I like to just cut mine down to real tiny little chunks. Yes, you do get a little hit now and again, but I just prefer it that way. But some people do like squash it, but I've just preferred to chunk it like this. So as you can see here now, the chicken's just about done. I've tested it, it's pulling apart nicely. And now what I'm going to do is just put all that ingredients I chopped in. Just chuck it in. Give it a mix around. And then let it all sort of cook nicely. When you get it, again, with the onions and that, it's up to you how much you cook them. I don't like them cooked right down. I like them a bit al dente, I think the technical word for it is. Here you can see I've got the egg noodles and the bean sprouts in. And then I'm adding some sea salt now. I will add a little bit more of this again at the end when I've got it on the plate. And now some black peppers. Again, as much or as little as you want, entirely your choice, but sea salt is better for you. Give it a mix around, and you just mix that to cook it to how you want it. Again, I like my bean sprouts a bit crunchy. And I did forget to put the actual stir fry of all the little vegetables and that in, but you'll see that in one of the other videos. That's turned out okay. But taste test now. So there you have it. Chicken stir fry with egg noodles and bean shoots. Let's give it a little try. Oh, better than your local Chinese. Get on them cobs.